Let's start with the only thing you have to spend gold for on this list: control wards. They cost only 75 gold and provide excellent coverage of a part of the map. Not only do they reveal enemy champions and wards, they also stay until they are cleared or you place a new one. Keep in mind that as of Season 7 they do not reveal stealthed enemies anymore. You should never leave your base without a control ward, except if you don't have the inventory space for it. During the laning phase they can keep you safe from ganks, and in the mid game, vision is one of the most important things to have if you want to dominate the map. Here are some of the best positions for control wards after the laning phase. Pretty similar to control wards, you should always remember to place your trinket ward as well. How often did you get ganked and killed in your last few games? You can prevent that just by good ward coverage and positioning. Meaning that if you don't have a ward in the river, you should stay near your tower to not risk getting ganked. All of your warding is useless if you do not use your minimap. Try to look at it as often as possible and look for missing players. Sure, your teammates should ping it to you, but do not trust them to. If you cannot see the enemy mid laner, you should probably not try to engage a top lane, because he might be waiting for just that. A good tip is to try and look at the minimap after every minion you lasted. After a few games, you won't even have to think about it anymore. Go on lolnexus.com and check the teams. You should try and find out which lane matchups are pushing and which lanes are easy to gank, so you can make a game plan for yourself. Furthermore, you can take a look at the enemies and find out who is on a losing streak, so you can camp that lane. They will usually be a lot easier to tilt. It's a bit dirty, but a tilting enemy can win you the game on its own. Talking about tilting, you want to try your best to not tilt, for obvious reasons. Make a break after you lost the game, and if you keep on losing, maybe play a normal or two to get out of your bad mindset. Never think about something like, I just can't win today. A negative attitude won't help that. You should also just mute the chat as soon as someone says something negative or starts to trash talk. You shouldn't use the chat anyways, except when you need to make a call like Dragon or Baron. Chatting is a waste of time and makes you think more about the chat and less about the game. The best way to communicate with your team is pings. When your laner is missing, ping 1 or 2 MIA pings on your lane and a danger ping in the middle of the lane next to you, or on both lanes if you're playing mid lane. If you think the enemy jungler is invading, try to ping your jungler. When you want to engage a team fight, spam the I'm on my way ping. You get the point. It's better to ping something that your team already knew than to see your jungler getting killed by an invade you knew was coming. Another very important thing you can do to help your teammates is to roam. This is mostly for top lane, mid lane and support, but in some cases the ADC should roam too. If you see any sign of a skirmish and you are not completely pushed against your turret, move. It can make a huge difference to arrive in a fight 2 or 3 seconds earlier, and it's better to miss a few CS for a roam that wasn't needed than to not roam when you should have. Probably the weirdest tip on this list: learn how to get carried. You would not believe how many games are lost just because people do not understand this. And not just in low elo. You do not have to stomp your lane to win the game. If your team is ahead, it's often better to play a safe lane than to go for a risky all-in. Your team already is ahead, just make sure to not lose your lane so the enemy team has no way of coming back. Instead of fighting your lane opponent 1v1, wait for someone to come and help you out. If your team is ahead, they will at some point make a move to your lane. So ignore your ego and just try to not feed.